About to go live in a few seconds.
Okay, there we go. Councilwoman Coonrod, you do have the pledge and invocation tonight.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Madam Clerk, I have 6 o'clock. Let's go ahead and go live. All right. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our Tuesday, November the 10th City Council meeting. And I'll call this meeting to order. Tonight's pledge and invocation will be by Councilwoman Coonrod.
Thank you, Chair. If you all will bow your head, please. Lord, who enlightens us, we ask for your supernatural wisdom as we make some tough decisions tonight. Help us consider the relevant information that has been gathered. And may those sharing information give us pertinent points so we all clearly understand. Help us to be innovative as we brainstorm solutions. Help us to wisely evaluate our options, considering pros and cons. Help us to be unified in making the best possible decision and to effectively carry them out. God, our hearts are broken with pain at the senseless gun violence that's taking place in our city. Families mourn and children live in fear. I ask that you touch hearts with your love, heal brokenness, and transform hearts to seek peaceful ways of resolving differences. We pray for justice, peace, and reconciliation. And when challenges seem too many, just give us hope that the impossible can happen as we continue to break down the barriers preventing people from living their best lives. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
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 Would you lead us in the pledge now, ma'am?
Yes. Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance
Allegiance
to the
To the
flag
flag
of the United
of the
States
States
of
of
America
America,
and to the
to the
republic
republic
for
for
which
which
it
it
stands,
stands,
one
one
nation,
nation,
under
under
God,
God,
indivisible, with liberty
liberty
and justice
for all.
All right, Chair, move the agenda.
Thank you, Councilwoman. All right, we at this time need a motion on the minutes.
Motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
Second.
We have a motion to approve the minutes with a proper second. Any questions or comments before we vote? Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Councilwoman Burrs. She's not here. Councilwoman Coonrod,
Yes.
Councilman Gilbert,
Yes.
Councilman Ledford,
Yes.
Councilman Mitchell,
Yes.
Councilman Oglesby,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Smith,
Yes.
Chairman Henderson.
Yes,
All right, that's 7 yeses.
so moved. All right, now we move into your order of business for City Council. We have no ordinances on final reading this afternoon. We do have several planning items on our agenda. Madam Clerk, if you would read 5A, please.
An ordinance to amend Chattanooga City Code Part 2, Chapter 38 zoning ordinance so as to lift conditions from ordinance number 9816, a previous case number 1990-098, from part of the property located at 5390 Hickson Pike, more particularly described herein.
All right, I need to know, is the applicant present? All right, and do we have any opposition present this afternoon? Would you please raise your hand? Councilman or Vice Chair Smith, it does look like we have one in opposition tonight. Would you like a full presentation, sir?
I would, sir.
All right, Miss Lydia, would you bring John Bridger in, please?
Yes, sir.
Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Bridger. Could you give us a brief presentation on item A, please?
Sure. This is a request to lift a condition for, basically what they're doing is relocating a easement location for a greenway. You see outlined here in red the current location for that easement. Let me just kind of jump down to the site plan.
Hey, John, you have to share your screen.
Oh, my bad. I was jumping ahead. Good catch.
I can see it in your glasses, but it's really.
No, I thought you could see the reflect. Okay, I'm sorry, guys. Anyway, this is the site, and you can see currently the greenway condition is here, and they're proposing to basically move the greenway connection to this location along the street. So that's what's being requested. There was no opposition at Planning Commission. Both staff and PC recommended to approve the request since it was a relocation.
Okay. Mr. Attorney,
Yes, sir.
would you, let's see, we have
Folks.
for the opposition, for the applicant and the opposition, both have a total of 9 minutes. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. After the presentation by staff, the applicant has 7 for oral presentation plus 2 for rebuttal for a total of 9 minutes, and anybody in opposition has 9 minutes.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. Miss Lydia, would you bring in Miss Donna Shepherd, please?
Yes, sir.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
This is a former abandonment. It's also, this lift condition application is also in conjunction with a mandatory referral that will come before the council next week and was discussed in the Transportation Committee earlier today. The condition, actually the ordinance, the condition that we are asking to lift is for the greenway. TDOT, this section right here was part of the Longview Drive before Hickson Pike was realigned in Adams Road. And this is right in front of Earth Fair, just for a reference to you. And what this abandonment does for next week in the lift condition is it allows us to square off the property. As you can see, there's a triangle point that goes out that was already purchased from TDOT for the right-of-way. And they also own the area where the lift condition is. And so Longview Drive has the right-of-way width, and what we would like to do is to dedicate an easement across that's shown in purple. The connection to the greenway, which I think the city owns some property, is to the south of the Longview Drive that's running left to right on the page. And so providing an easement along the purple section would allow the city to make improvements along the Longview Drive that is running at an angle and give them the extra property. And so they already own the property. There are a number of easements in this area, but it would allow the applicant to square off their parcel.
Okay. All right. Councilman Smith, any questions so far for Mr. Bridger or Ms. Shepherd?
Just real quick, Ms. Shepherd, in a nutshell, I mean, I've heard allow the applicant to square off their property and allow the city to make improvements. What is the intent specifically for this applicant for this easement? What do they want to do with that piece of property?
They want to further develop the commercial area. If you remember, you can see, it looks like it's coming off of Hickson Pike, an old driveway. There was a house there at one time.
Yeah.
And they actually have someone that is interested in further developing this as a commercial parcel.
Okay, so they need that to further develop that as commercial. Okay, that answers my
Yes.
question. Thank you, Ms. Shepherd. Mr. Chair, I'm good on my questions so far.
Okay. All right. Miss Lydia, let's leave all of our guests currently with us and bring in Sam Reeves, please.
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Good evening, Mr. Reeves. It's my understanding you are in opposition to this request?
No, not this one. It's about the place beside Dunkin' Donuts and Smart Bank on Hickson Pike.
Okay, you don't have any opposition to this particular item that we are currently
No, sir.
addressing? Okay.
No, sir.
Miss Lydia, would you please remove Mr. Reeves?
Yes, sir.
So I guess, Miss Shepherd, you do have 2 minutes of a rebuttal. If you would like to take that, or
Mr. Chair, I move approval.
okay.
Second.
All right, we have a motion on the floor to approve with a proper second. Questions or comments before we vote? All right, roll call, Madam Clerk, and yeah, take her screen down.
Councilman Oglesby,
Yes.
Councilman Mitchell,
Yes.
Councilman Ledford,
Yes.
Councilman Gilbert,
Yes.
Councilwoman Coonrod,
Yes.
Councilman Byrd,
Yes.
Councilwoman Burrs,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Smith,
Yes.
Chairman Henderson,
Yes.
9 yeses.
All right, motion to approve carries. Miss Lydia, go ahead and excuse our guest, please.
Yes, sir.
Madam Clerk, we're ready for item 5B, please.
Yes. An ordinance to amend Chattanooga City Code Part 2, Chapter 38 zoning ordinance so as to rezone properties located in the 7,000 block of Shaliford Road and 2301 Rivendell Lane from R1 residential zone and RTZ residential townhouse zero lot line zone to RTZ residential townhouse zero lot line zone for the entire site.
Councilman Ledford, I believe you are going to propose a deferral.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I apologize to anybody who may be in opposition to this. And I think I know you very well. So I appreciate you coming to the Zoom meeting tonight and expressing this. But I do want to stress that I'm working with some folks at TDEC. I have some questions. There are some state waters of the state involved in this. I also want to make sure that the community concerns are answered to the absolute best ability. And there is no time-sensitive restriction on this. So working through this and knowing we're about to hit the holidays and also the time frame for getting back with TDEC, as I've recently found out, working through another piece of legislation can be a little daunting. I would like to move to defer this until January 12th. And I better put the year because I was going to say 2022, but we'll go with January 12th, 2021.
Second.
All right, we have a motion to defer this item until January the 12th, 2021 with a proper second. Questions or comments before we vote? If not, Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Councilwoman Burrs,
Yes.
Councilman Byrd,
Yes.
Councilwoman Coonrod,
Yes.
Councilman Gilbert,
Yes.
Councilman Ledford,
Yes.
Councilman Mitchell,
Yes.
Councilman Oglesby,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Smith,
Yes.
Chairman Henderson,
Yes,
9 yeses.
motion carries. Now, Madam Clerk, if you would read 5C, please.
An ordinance to amend Chattanooga City Code Part 2, Chapter 38 zoning ordinance so as to rezone property located at 1413 Meadowlark Lane from R1 residential zone to R2 residential zone.
Councilman, let me first ask if the applicant is present. Would you please raise your hand? Applicant for this item, please raise your hand. Any opposition to this request, raise your hand. Councilman Ledford, I'm not seeing an applicant nor opposition.
Understood. Chairman, I move to support the staff recommendation and move for denial.
Second.
All right, we have a motion to deny with a proper second. Questions or comments before we vote? Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Councilman Oglesby,
Yes.
Councilman Mitchell,
Yes.
Councilman Ledford,
Yes.
Councilman Gilbert,
Yes.
Councilwoman Coonrod,
Yes.
Councilman Byrd,
Yes.
Councilwoman Byrd,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Smith,
Yes.
Chairman Henderson,
Yes,
9 yeses.
motion to deny carries. 5D, please.
Thank you.
An ordinance to amend Chattanooga City Code, Part 2, Chapter 38 zoning ordinance, so as to rezone properties located at 1706 and 1710 Holtzclaw Avenue from M1 manufacturing zone and R2 residential zone to R2 residential zone.
Is the applicant present? Very well. Do we have any opposition to this rezone present? Would you raise your hand, please? And for some reason, the applicant's hand just went away. There we go. All right, Councilman Byrd.
Yes, thank you, Chairperson. I haven't had any opposition or anything of that sort, and I think it's a pretty good move for this community. So I move to approve the applicant's version.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a proper second to approve the applicant version. Questions or comments before we vote?
And sir,
Yes,
if you don't mind, I think I read that wrong. John Bridger, before I do that, recommended for approval. That's the Mr. Bridger with the conditions and stuff. That's is that the applicant version, or did I read that correctly?
Planning commission version would be the one that's
planning
R2. I think the applicant was requesting R1.
Right, it's planning.
Yeah.
I apologize. I did see that wrong. So, sir, how would I go about recanting it, or do I need to move forward with that, sir?
just make a new motion with the permission of the seconder.
Absolutely.
Okay, I would like to make a new motion to approve
Planning and
staff
version.
Second.
Okay. We have a motion on the floor now to approve the planning and staff version with a
Yes.
proper second.
Thank you.
Questions or comments before we vote? If not, Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Councilwoman Byrd,
Yes.
Councilman Byrd,
Yes.
Councilwoman Coonrod,
Yes.
Councilman Gilbert,
Yes.
Councilman Mitchell,
Yes.
Councilman Oglesby,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Smith,
Yes.
Chairman Henderson,
Yes,
that's 8 yeses.
so moved.
Chair, I just have one just short comment, just to note for the record, just to note that this does accommodate the applicant's request for the use of the property. So even though they requested R1, R2 will still let them do what they were proposing to do.
Okay.
Yes, that's what I was told.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much, man.
All right, sir. Madam Clerk, 5E, please.
An ordinance to amend Chattanooga City Code, Part 2, Chapter 38 zoning ordinance, so as to rezone properties located at 1500 and 1502 East 13th Street from R1 residential zone to UGC urban general commercial zone, subject to certain conditions.
All right. Is the applicant present for this request? Very well. Do we have any opposition present? Would you please raise your hand at this time? Councilman Byrd, I am not seeing any opposition.
Yes, sir. Earlier today, I asked that we were going to get a deferral on this, but after talking with the neighborhood association president, he explained to me that everyone was definitely in agreement to it, and then the community was liking this move. So I will move to approve.
Second.
Okay, let's ask a clarifying. Are you approving the planning version?
Yes.
Or you're recommending the planning version? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we have a motion on the floor to approve the planning version with a proper second. Any questions or comments before we vote? If not, Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Councilman Oglesby,
Yes.
Councilman Mitchell,
Yes.
Councilman Gilbert,
Yes.
Councilwoman Coonrod,
Yes.
Councilman Byrd,
Yes.
Councilwoman Byrd,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Smith,
Yes.
Chairman Henderson,
Yes,
8 yeses.
so moved. 5F, please.
An ordinance to amend Chattanooga City Code Part 2, Chapter 38 zoning ordinance so as to rezone property located at 1603 Wheeler Avenue from R1 residential zone to R2 residential zone.
All right. Could I ask that the applicant, if you're present, please raise your hand? Would the applicant please raise your hand for item F? Okay, any opposition to item F, would you please raise your hand? Councilwoman Coonrod.
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion on the floor to approve with a proper second. Questions or comments before we vote?
That'd be the planning version, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Very well. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Councilwoman Byrd,
Yes.
Councilman Byrd,
Yes.
Councilwoman Coonrod,
Yes.
Councilman Gilbert,
Yes.
Councilman Mitchell,
Yes.
Councilman Oglesby,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Smith,
Yes.
Chairman Henderson.
Yes,
That's 8 yeses.
so moved. Item G, please.
An ordinance to amend Chattanooga City Code Part 2, Chapter 38 zoning ordinance so as to rezone property located at 2543 Ocoee Street from R1 residential zone to RTZ residential townhouse 0 lot line zone.
Is the applicant present for item G? Would you please raise your hand? Very well. Any opposition present? Would you please raise your hand? Councilwoman Coonrod, I am not seeing any hands of opposition.
Move to approve.
Second.
All right, we have a motion to approve with a proper second. Questions or comments before we vote? Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Councilman Oglesby,
Yes.
Councilman Mitchell,
Yes.
Councilman Gilbert,
Yes.
Councilwoman Coonrod,
Yes.
Councilman Byrd,
Yes.
Councilwoman Byrd,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Smith,
Yes.
Chairman Henderson.
Yes,
8 yeses.
very well, so moved. Now we move to resolutions. Madam Clerk, 6A, please.
A resolution authorizing the mayor to execute the attached loan documents and any other necessary tax increment finance documents which provide for a $4 million loan from the city to the Industrial Development Board for the city of Chattanooga, Tennessee, for the purpose of funding infrastructure improvements and other capital improvement projects at 3.5% interest rate for 20 years to fund infrastructure improvements within the East Chattanooga Rising TIF district pursuant to the associated economic impact plan for the area.
All right, Councilwoman Byrd.
Move approval.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve. Questions or comments before we vote? Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Councilwoman Byrd,
Yes.
Councilman Byrd,
Yes.
Councilwoman Coonrod,
Yes.
Councilman Gilbert,
Yes.
Councilman Mitchell,
Yes.
Councilman Oglesby,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Smith,
Yes.
Chairman Henderson.
Yes,
8 yeses.
motion carries. All right, Madam Clerk, would you read 6B now at this time?
A resolution approving a special exceptions permit for a residential plan unit development for part of a property located in the 1000 block of River Gorge Drive.
Okay, we have started handling these with public comment, and is the applicant of this special exceptions permit present? Would you please raise your hand? Okay, I'm not seeing a hand at this time. Is there any opposition to this special exemption permit at this time? Would you please raise your hand? I am seeing no hands at this time. And I am good as well with this proposal.
Move to approve.
Second.
Thank you, sir. We have a motion on the floor to approve with a proper second. Questions or comments before we vote? Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Councilman Oglesby,
Yes.
Councilman Mitchell,
Yes.
Councilman Gilbert,
Yes.
Councilwoman Coonrod,
Yes.
Councilman Byrd,
Yes.
Councilwoman Byrd,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Smith,
Yes.
Chairman Henderson.
Yes,
8 yeses.
motion carries. Now, with no objection from the council, Madam Clerk, let's read items 6C and D together, and we'll take those together as a package. Councilman Gilbert, is that an opposition hand?
Just a vote on it, sir.
Okay, very well. Madam Clerk?
Item C, a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute a proposal with the Tennessee Department of Transportation, TDOT, for state project number 33027222514, federal project number NH 31722, PIN number 11215.2.03, Bonnie Oaks Drive, Addison Road to west of Bonnie Shear Drive, TDOT proposal for acceptance. Item D, a resolution authorizing the administrator for the Department of Transportation to renew a services agreement in substantially the form attached between the City of Chattanooga, Tennessee and Novo Global for traffic infraction detection and enforcement program for a 1-year period per resolution number 30129.
Councilman Gilbert, followed by Councilwoman Burrs.
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion on the floor to approve with a proper second. Questions or comments before we vote? Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Councilwoman Burrs,
Yes.
Councilman Byrd,
Yes.
Councilwoman Coonrod,
Yes.
Councilman Gilbert,
Yes.
Councilman Mitchell,
Yes.
Councilman Oglesby,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Smith,
Yes.
Chairman Henderson,
Yes,
8 yeses.
motion carries. All right, council, if you would pull up your purchases for this afternoon as Miss Lydia brings in Mr. Salmons. Good afternoon, Mr. Salmons.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair and members of council. We have 2 purchases for your approval this evening and 2 emergency purchases to bring to your attention. The first purchase from the mayor's purchasing department, we have the purchase of newspaper advertising, legal classified ads, and affidavits being awarded to Chattanooga Times Free Press for an estimated annual cost of $100,000. And the last item from the Waste Resource Division of Public Works, the purchase of impeller and wear rings being awarded to Guthrie Sales and Service for an estimated annual cost of $7,391. And that concludes the new purchases for this evening.
Very well. What's the pleasure of the council?
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion to approve these purchases with a proper second. Questions or comments before we vote? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Oglesby,
Yes.
Councilman Mitchell,
Yes.
Councilman Gilbert,
Yes.
Councilwoman Coonrod,
Yes.
Councilman Byrd,
Yes.
Councilwoman Burrs,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Smith,
Yes.
Chairman Henderson,
Yes,
8 yeses.
motion carries. Now, Mr. Salmons, I think we had some questions about the emergency purchases. So if you could fill us in on those, and we may have some remaining questions.
All right, thank you. We do have 2 emergency purchases under the mayor's emergency declaration. They're both related to COVID-19 activities. The first is an increase to the original purchase order number 558917 by $36,085.38 to Salvation Army for additional emergency services that were needed for the months of September and October. They were for the services that they provided of homeless housing. It was used as an isolation facility. And the last is an increase also to the original purchase order number 557745 by $9,933.04. This too was for additional cleaning service for the period of September to that facility for COVID-related activities.
All right, I think we have a question or two for you, sir. Councilman Gilbert.
Yes, Tony, this contract for the cleaning, is this under the same contract we have with this company to clean other buildings?
This was a separate contract for this specific service. This service was bid out and JM Pro was awarded this service for this activity.
So this was a separate bid out from the other?
Yes, it was.
All right, thank you, sir.
All right, you good, Councilman?
Yes, sir.
Any other questions for Mr. Sammons before we let him go? Mr. Sammons, thank you very much, sir.
We
Ms.
thank
Lydia,
you.
you can excuse our guest.
Yes, sir.
Now we come to committee reports. Councilwoman Coonrod.
I don't have any reports for my committee. However, I do encourage everybody to make sure that you sign up to take part in the budget discussions that's happening. We got the 12th and the 16th from 5:30 to 7. And if you're not able to virtually, be there, you can use the paper form where you can drop it off at the library. So we're really making it accessible. And if you're still having issues, if you live in District 9, reach out to me with your email, with your concerns or ideas that you have, and I'll make sure to forward it. I want to make sure that everybody's voice is heard through this process. This is the time beforehand, not after the budget has passed.
All right, Councilman Byrd.
Thank you, Chair. We had a wonderful discussion concerning the firefighters' pay and the Public Safety Committee. And just want to let the firefighters and all city workers know that we will continue to fight and work to get you as fair as pay as we can get. And just hold on. We're working for you.
All right, Councilman Mitchell.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We had Public Works and Transportation Committee today, and we will have another one in 2 weeks.
Councilwoman Burrs.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And thanks to Councilwoman Coonrod for that plug. You know, we had our introduction to BFO on the 2nd. All of this is virtual. We had a great meeting last night, and then on the 12th and the 16th. This is the time. She's right. This is the time that if you will get on virtually, we're listening to everything you say. So thank you very much. And thanks to Councilman Smith for talking about the budget and talking about the information he'd know in order to make an informed vote. So thank you very much. And last of all, it was Councilman Gilbert or I'm not sure, maybe Byrd, who brought up the firefighters' pay, which is so important. Thank you very, very much. You gave me a lot of input, and thanks to all of you guys. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Vice Chair Smith.
No report, Mr. Chair.
Councilman Gilbert.
No report, sir.
Councilman Oglesby.
No report, Chair.
All right, very well. Vice Chair Smith, do we have anybody that has registered to speak this afternoon?
There are 3 people listed that have registered to speak, sir.
Okay. I'll tell you what,
you want me to tell you who they are and then ask them to raise their hands?
Just verify when they raise their hand.
Okay. Not as of yet.
Mr. Attorney, would you read the rules of engagement while I ask those in attendance, if you have registered to speak this afternoon, would you please begin raising your hand?
Governor Lee, by his most recent executive order 65, is continuing to have Zoom meetings through December the 27th of 2020 here. And because of that, at the end of each council meeting, the chair can recognize members of the public that wish to address the council. If you want to talk, each speaker wishing to address can only be recognized whenever you're called on. You have to provide your name and address and council district before addressing the council. You can't have more than 3 minutes to speak, and you can address the council only upon matters within their legislative and quasi-judicial authority and not upon things that are under the authority of other governmental agencies or bodies. Don't use any vulgar or obscene language nor use the floor to personally attack or personally denigrate others. And please address the comments that you have towards the council as a whole and not towards individual council members. Having read those instructions to you, please go ahead.
Vice Chair Smith, could you confirm the 2 hands that are raised at this time?
Yes, sir. They have registered.
All right. Ms. Lydia, would you bring in Sam Reeves, please?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, Chairman Henderson.
Would you give us your address or district location, please?
I am in District 1, and my address is 751 Runyon Drive, apartment 812, Chattanooga, Tennessee, 37405.
All right, sir. Go ahead.
Okay, every month, because of Smart Bank and Dunkin' Donuts on Hickson Pike, the bank at Smart Bank, the drive-through of Dunkin' Donuts is blocking the entrance of Smart Bank, and the Smart Bank managers, branch manager, and the owners are getting agitated because it's blocking the entrance and no customers can get into the entrance of the bank. And I was seeing is there any resolution that the bank could get to try to resolve instead of getting the entrance blocked off from the bank's customers?
I am not, sir, I'm not aware of a resolution that the city council can bring forward to govern a private entity. Would you email me, sir, and we'll try to have a conversation offline?
Yes.
Okay. You can CC Henderson at chattanooga.gov.
CC Henderson.
At chattanooga.gov.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
All right, Miss Lydia, would you bring in Robin Floyd, please?
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Good afternoon. Would you give us your district, please?
I'm not sure. I live 1525 Jenkins Road, Chattanooga, Tennessee, 37421.
Okay. Go ahead.
I've been having a lot of problems with the 311. When I call for services, they tell me I don't live in the city. As well as I've put in several different work orders and requests for having our ditch dug out a little bit more. The gentleman next door puts Roundup in his, and the mud washes to mine, and the storm water washes through the yard. They've closed it out repeatedly. Before my mother passed away, they told her there was nothing they could do. I'm not sure, but I do believe we should be able to, with paying city taxes, be able to get a hold of someone in Public Works to have a discussion with them instead of 311. So those are the two things I'd like to see addressed at some point, or given some information on how to address them without showing up in the mayor's office.
Would you give me your address again, please?
1525 Jenkins Road, Chattanooga, Tennessee, 37421.
Okay. I don't know if this would be Councilman Ledford, or it sounds like it would be. Let me get with him. He is not present on our Zoom meeting, and we'll see what we can do.
I would appreciate that, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk.
Thank you. All right. Is there anyone else that has registered to speak that would like to do so at this time? Vice Chair Smith, could you confirm the hand that is raised is registered to speak?
Not this week, sir.
Not this week. Okay. Then I am seeing no other hands at this time, council, that have registered to speak. What is your pleasure?
Move we adjourn.
All right. We have a motion to adjourn. We're so moved.
Have
See
a
everybody
good
next week.
Hey, everyone.
See you, colleagues. Great meeting.